Let's try that again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, OBS, for not picking up my microphone. Challenger Cup Series playoff race number 1, round of 16 at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Harold Watkins, the points leader, leads the way over GT Irizarry, Matt Hayden, and John Velocity with 31 laps complete and 101 laps to go. Want to apologize for how late this broadcast has gotten on the air. We've had to do a little bit of amateur storm watching, storm chasing here in my area, here in candidly, East Tennessee. We've got a nasty storm coming down the interstate right now, and as I was saying a moment ago, in about the next 30 to 35 or so minutes, there's a chance the broadcast will be interrupted to deal with that, whether because of compromised power, whether because of a tornado warning, whatever the case may be. I will do my best to clarify, hey, we're going to go on a break. If possible, we'll be back, and then I'm going to attempt to make my way into a precautionary measure for that storm. You know, funny how these things work out. This thing basically has caution flags on the speedway. These things basically have a way of not working out. I think this may have been the stage caution, so apologies for that. Stage 1 is complete. Harold Watkins, GT Irizarry, Matt Hayden, John Velocity, and James Coytre in the top 5. I do want to apologize in advance, though, if that does happen. And I know you're going to say, well, why are you apologizing for a storm? Well, it's just human nature. Do want to be on the broadcast if possible, but certainly right now it's not looking incredible. Now, again, we are waiting to see if this even occurs here on down the line. But regardless, if that occurs, I will let everyone know. We'll come back if possible. If not, unfortunately, the broadcast will end early tonight. But hope everyone's having a good Tuesday night. North Wilkesboro, it's playoff racing. In the meantime, let's get down to business. 14 drivers in the field, 13 I believe we're in the playoff field, at least from what I am seeing on my end. Let's give you those playoff drivers as they make pit stops here. Under the caution flag, apologies, I'm seeing something on my end that I thought was a little bit funny. Let's get to these playoff drivers. Coming into tonight, and obviously this has changed now that the stage is over and some points changes here. Notably, Christian Strader not in the field tonight in the 29. So the second place driver in points, who coming into tonight was only 7 points above the cut line, I think. Apologies. No, sorry. He was 10 points above the cut line, so not much different. I was missing tonight's race. That's a tough break for Strader, as he will miss tonight's race. Everyone else, I think, that's around the cut line is in the field. Hunter Carlson not here. Our winner last week from Kansas is not in the field tonight. And Rusty Modesty, the 10th place driver in playoff points, is also not in the field. So those are the 3 playoff cars that, excuse me, were not, oh my goodness, were not able to make the field tonight. But without them, here is how the playoff points will run down. Harold Watkins is 28 points, technically above that cut line driver in Carlson. Coming into tonight, he has the biggest lead and the least to worry about, and already tonight has cashed in 5 stage points. I believe he now moves that lead up to 33 points above that cut line driver. Christian Strader second in the points, 10 above Hunter Carlson. It will stay there depending on James Coytre, who I think just got points in stage number 1. Travis Everett third. He was also 10 points above the cut line. Andrew Little was 8 points above the cut line. Matt Hayden 7. GT Irizarry, John Velocity 5 apiece. Justin Malarkey 2. Then it was Hunter Carlson first under the cut line with Modesty 3 points back of him and 5 points back of Malarkey. James Coytre tonight 7 points back of Malarkey. That's a battle we'll be watching throughout the night. Coytre, I believe, picked up a point. I believe it's down to 6 now that separate those drivers. The other drivers in the field, Brandon Beauchamp, Greg Bourbonier, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Steve Luttrell, and Steve Potter, all were 8 points behind Justin Malarkey tonight. All of them are in the field and racing tonight. We'll keep an eye on points as they become more of an issue. Hoping the stage is clarified. If not at the end of the race, it will be clarified, so we'll be able to give you a better idea of the points at that point in the race. 41 laps complete. Andrew Little stays out under the caution flag and inherits the lead over Harold Watkins, excuse me. Watkins looking forward here in turn 3. Everett, ooh, trouble in the back. Big hits from somebody out back. I believe it might have been Greg Bourbonier, and oh man, it's Matt Hayden. Big trouble out back for a pair of our playoff contenders. And let's kind of see what happened. They're racing nearly side by side off of turn number 2. And oh, goodness. Well, Matt Hayden, that's one of the bigger hits we've seen all season. Good grief. What happens to the 6 car here? Or the 5 car, excuse me. I'm used to being the 6. Oh, he gets loose. Big loose on exit. And he's going to actually hit an opening in the wall and just catapult back out. Greg Bourbonier nowhere to go. Big damage. Justin Malarkey, that's a playoff driver. That's the guy on the cut line. GT Erzuri's not far above it. And both get big time involvement here in this caution flag. So does Jimmy Fitzmaurice. So a lot of playoff cars are involved. Let's go take another look. Unfortunately, the pace laps are not very long, so we're not going to be able to take a ton of looks at this. Thank you for the cameras not wanting to do... What in the world? Okay, well, that's odd. We only have one camera for the TV cameras. I'll have to fix that, hopefully, in the first break. Let's go back a little bit more. Up top, watch Matt Hayden here. He's going to snap. See him snap left. And as soon as he tries to correct that car, this next-gen car does not like to save. And he snaps back to the right. And that's a big hit right on that opening that juts him back out in the field. Bourbonier, huge damage, which he could really not afford. Neither could Justin Malarkey. Hayden and Irizarry weren't in good spots either. Irizarry actually, I think, gets away pretty lucky. Whereas Matt Hayden, Greg Bourbonier, and Justin Malarkey are going to take big hits in this as playoff drivers. That is a tough break for all of those race cars. 44 laps complete at the line. Pace Truck leads the way, and lights will go off. Andrew Little is the race leader with Harold Watkins second, Travis Everett third. Steve Potter, great run for him so far in fourth. And John Velocity rounds out the top 5. So 87 laps to go on the restart. Apologies, I'm looking down at the weather as it rolls into town here over the next 30 minutes. Green flag back in the air. We're going to go back underway on lap number 46. Coytrone around the far outside. He was looking for several spots and is going to get kicked out of the groove. Trouble. Around goes Steve Potter and Coytrone. They're going to hit the outside wall, and the caution flag will come right back out. And I caught that one, I think, right as it started to happen. I caught the beginnings of that one. We'll go back, take one look at it, go back to live, and may take my first break to try to work on these cameras. Let's go up top. Coytrone tried a bonsai move on the outside of turn number 1, and he was getting passed by Potter and Velocity, and Potter runs him out of real estate on the outside, gets turned across the nose. The caution flag quickly thrown. Greg Bourbonier escapes. Looks like Coytrone and even Potter are going to escape without a ton of damage here. And they will both continue on. Very simple short track crash. Puts us back under the caution flag on lap number 48. It's a bit of an impromptu break, but we're going to do one nonetheless. We're going to take a break. I'm going to work on these cameras. In the meantime, you're watching Challenger Cup Series playoff racing from North Wilkesboro. We'll be right back.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by three. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Welcome back to the North Wilkesboro Speedway and Challenger Cup Series Racing, Season 1 of 2025. The playoffs bring us the round of 16 from historic North Wilkesboro Speedway in the foothills of North Carolina. as Andrew Little maintains the lead with 82 laps remaining in this one. And Harold Watkins will line up to his outside. We'll try this again. 82 laps to go at the line. And let's try this thing one more time. Again, apologies. I'm just kind of looking down at the weather as it rolls into my city here, and I am almost positive, ladies and gentlemen, that my power is going to go out at some point in this storm. But in the meantime, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it pushing, and until it actually happens, let's keep the action going from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Little on the outside, Watkins on the inside. You'll notice some new camera angles. I went and fixed that in the break. We now have more than one TV camera. Excuse me, to work. Oh my goodness, to work with. Andrew Little, Harold Watkins battle for the race lead. And Watkins will get it here off turn number 4. Little now battle with Travis Everett. That battle will not take long. Everett to the inside, Little on the outside. Velocity forcing the issue a little bit on Andrew Little. Has to back out. And GT Irizarry moves into 4th position. Now we'll look for 3rd on Andrew Little. Coitron Velocity battle for 5th further back behind the leader now, Harold Watkins. Watkins with 78 laps to go. Next time by, looking to complete win number 4. Contact back around. Velocity's going to go around. John Velocity right in front of the field. Potter gets in the side of him. Caution flag number 6 here at North Wilkesboro. We caught that one live just as it happened as well. John Velocity caught contact from James Coitron. They went. The 84 went for a spin, and Steve Potter was unable to stop that race car. We'll take a look back around the 6th position. Oh, Coitron misses the entry point, gets in the left rear of Velocity, who locks it down, and Steve Potter unable to get that car stopped. And again, just a little bit distracted for me tonight, but John Velocity, tough break for him and really for Steve Potter as well. A pair of playoff cars. You'll hear me say that a lot tonight. A lot of the cars in tonight's race are playoff drivers. Watch Coitron. I mean, he's already drifting way up the racetrack. He kind of misses that entry point and runs right up into the side of Velocity. It's kind of a weird angle that he hit him at. To be fully honest with you, I'm not used to seeing a car go around. He kind of hit him right behind the door number, which is not typically conducive to a car spinning out like that, but nonetheless for Velocity. And then, oh man, Steve Potter just nowhere to go. Came up on him a little fast. Malarkey, Luttrell, Fitzmaurice, a couple other cars bail to the grass. Matt Aiden does as well. Caution flag number 6 on the Speedway with 76 laps to go, not even to halfway. Again, we continue to watch these guys pace. Round 1 of the playoffs. Next week, the cutoff race for this round will be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway as NASCAR descends on its backyard this weekend for Coca-Cola 600 weekend. I will be down at the racetrack. Looking forward to being down there over the next several days. Getting to experience the Memorial Day weekend festivities in Charlotte, in Concord rather, for that 600 weekend. A lot of stuff going on. Obviously Sunday is the greatest day in racing, Monaco, followed by Indy, followed by Charlotte, the Coca-Cola 600. We got the Kyle Larson doing the double duty again for the second time in 2 years. You've got the storylines of the 600. That race has been awesome the last few years. A lot going on in Charlotte the next few days. Green flag back in the air, make it 74 laps to go at North Wilkesboro Speedway, and Watkins out to a comfortable lead. We'll focus now on the battle for the 2nd position, which is GT Irizarry and Travis Everett. Talking about Charlotte, that's where we'll be next week. Longest race of the regular season, if I do recall, for this series will be an elimination race in the round of 16. 8 drivers will be sent home. We'll cut the field down to 8 moving forward into the coming weeks. So a lot to look forward to over this next couple weeks of racing. believe after that it's Michigan, Nashville in the round of 8, and then it's Pocono in the championship 4, and then Atlanta. The last week in July, actually the first week in July, will kick off season 2 of 2025. Great battle here for fourth. Greg Bourbonier on the inside. Stephen Luttrell was on the outside. Luttrell drops out of that position. Now will maintain P5. Further back, James Coytrone trying to recover from the earlier incident with Velocity. Missed the entry of turn 1 again. Has to give the spot up to Jimmy Fitzmaurice. That was for 8th. Now, not a lot of battles on the racetrack, really just this one. There was one brewing up here. Again, Luttrell has found something on the outside, trying to get the outside lane up and running. Almost to the halfway point, actually three laps away from it. This race is this race is going to be very quick at the rate we're going. This race got started about 8:35. We're about 32 minutes in and 2 laps away from halfway. So not a long race. Harold Watkins continuing to lead the way. GT Rizuri, Travis Everett, they're about to battle for this second spot, I believe. Travis Everett, second half of the regular season, has come on very strong. Finally got a victory at Talladega just a few weeks ago to lock his spot in the playoffs. He was going to make it anyway, but improve his seeding, improve his opportunities to make it into round number 2. In fact, ended up moving all the way to the 3rd seed for this playoff run and will hop Christian Schrader to actually be the quasi-second seed at this point in the race, and with several guys behind him having some problems. Travis Everett and Harold Watkins, they're having a really nice night for themselves right now. Zuri and Everett continue to battle for the second spot. Meanwhile, Stephen Luttrell finally got around Greg Bourbonier for the 4th position. Luttrell in a big-time position to benefit. Christian Schrader will drop points tonight. Hunter Carlson will drop points tonight. And running 4th ahead of guys that are behind him in the points, or, excuse me, ahead of him in the points. For example, Matt Hayden, 14th, is 1 lap down. Andrew Little's 2 spots behind, so he's not going to gain a ton of points per se, but he is going to gain a few. He'll get passed here back by Bourbonier and by Preston and by maybe Velocity, so as soon as he had found something, it looks like those guys will get back around him. Meanwhile, up front, Travis Everett for 2nd on Irizarry gets the spot and will maintain that position with inside of 60 laps to go almost over the next couple laps. This is a really wild weather turn of events, not to, as the caution flag is out, as I was looking down at the weather. Apologies. It's for James Coytrone. Looks like Brandon Beauchamp may have been involved as well. Let's take a look at it really quickly when I get back to my weather sidebar real quick. Some weird stuff going on in the weather right now. Bourbonier on the outside, Luttrell in the middle. Is this another running out of real estate moment? No, looks like they ended up too wide. Does Coytrone just get loose here? Oh, yeah. Same situation as Matt Hayden. Coytrone gets loose. Slides a bit further, actually, before he hooks back to the right, and he's going to collect, I believe, Brandon Beauchamp here. Locks it down, avoids Steve Potter. Malarkey dives out of the way. There you see Matt Hayden a lap down. He's going to get his lap back right here. He should. Does Beauchamp get a piece? Yes, he does. Matt Hayden avoids it. He'll get the lap back here, will the 5. But damage for the 38, damage for the 15. As the field worked its way off turn number 4. It's another incident of a guy sliding and it's nowhere to go. You see Beauchamp's on the brakes. I mean, he's got him locked up, trying to stay out of the way of James Coytrone, and unfortunately, just not a lot you can do in that position. And these next-gen cars, they don't like to stop. And at a track like this, you're actually also driving downhill into turn one. They talked a lot about it on the All-Star race on Sunday night, where Coytrone, in this case, they were driving downhill. It's harder to get the car to stop, especially when you're going downhill. So, back to my weather sidebar that I was on a moment ago. A really interesting situation kind of unfolding here over the next probably hour and a half for East Tennessee. We've actually got two different areas of tornado warning deals for basically what's going to end up being the same place. There's about to be one that rolls through here in the next probably 20-30 minutes. We'll figure out where that one's going to go. But then you have another that's actually working its way up and actually is going to almost meet the second one. It's the weirdest thing. I've never seen anything like this. But enough of my weather sidebar. We're about to go back racing. 56 laps to go at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And I'll tell you what, folks, if these guys can figure out how to run some green flag laps, we might just get this one in before the power says goodbye. As Andrew Little back to the lead on pit strategy. Luttrell goes to third now. He was second, but Harold Watkins going to take that spot. Irizarry Everett trying to follow through, same as Velocity. But Andrew Little trying to win his way to the round of 8, and this would be significant because his gap to the cut line tonight was only 8 points. In the regular season, where we only had about 18 consistent cars, and that, even on some nights, that was a stretch. Apologies, looking at the weather again, but even that was a stretch in terms of winning, like what it did for you in the regular season. We didn't have enough consistent cars. Like, you could lock your spot, but a lot of guys that won were already going to be in the playoffs anyway. When we get to the playoffs, the margins are so thin coming into the postseason with cutting the rounds from 16 to 8. With a bunch of guys who really didn't make a huge stride in points, and really even you could include Christian Strader. I thought Christian Strader was probably, trouble. I think there was trouble out back. There is. We'll have to interrupt that sidebar as well. There's one car sideways, and it is Greg Bourbonier in the 00. Let's go back and see what happened here. He was running up around the 5th position when this happens. Make it 6th. Does he just get loose off corner exit? He does. Ooh, Luttrell, Irizarry, Malarkey again, Potter again. All get involved. In this one, so tough break for a lot of playoff cars. Again, we had the same situation where just several playoff cars and ones that have already been involved in something tonight getting involved in another one. Oh, actually, Malarkey may have had some help from behind from Fitzmaurice. That may have directly led to that one. Do the drone cam real quick, see if this gives us any kind of more information on this. Off turn 2. Oh. Some big hits there. Greg Bourbonier, man, tough night for the 00. Bad night gone worse, as he will go one lap down on pit road. Down to 50 laps to go at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. As Andrew Little continues to lead the way. Back to the playoff sidebar that I was talking about a moment ago. The wins become more important because the points are closer together. Again, even Christian Strader I thought was 1B to Harold Watkins. Maybe a 1 and then a 2 for most of the season. But the races he missed and the points he missed out on because of field strategy or whatever, only gave him a 10-point advantage on the cut line coming into tonight. The points are so thin that winning now has such a huge value when, you know, things could go wrong. The margins are so thin, it could mean the difference between in and out. And Andrew Little trying to get one, trying to steal one here at North Wilkesboro. Harold Watkins has been the class of the field. Little is trying to steal it from him with just 48 laps remaining. Green flag is back up in the air. Harold Watkins battling Andrew Little. That's for the race lead. Velocity, Everett, Irizarry. We're going to try 3 wide for third. Irizarry thought better of it. So I try to get the weather back on and try to multitask here over the next little bit of time. And caution number 9 is going to be thrown. Who's this one for? Might be for Brandon Beauchamp. It is for Brandon Beauchamp. Oh, man, Steve Potter. Oh, second time tonight. Pretty much an identical incident. So a tough break for Steve Potter. That is literally almost identical to what we saw a little bit ago with him and James Coytrone, who ironically runs right behind this. And you see right here, he kind of just runs the 15 out of real estate and goes around. Ooh, and Beauchamp nearly avoided the jut out of that wall. Tough break there. Go one more angle. Go from up top. 94 is going to squeeze the 15. Up, and just runs him out of room. Beauchamp tried to give him another quarter of a lane just to come a little bit further up, and it just was not there. Unfortunately, Beauchamp, Potter sandwiched together. Stephen Luttrell got a piece of that as well in the 36. Coming down to it here at North Wilkesboro. 44 laps to go, make it 43 at the line. Two laps to go when we take the green flag. Oh my goodness, now there's actually 3 potential tornado warnings for my area over the next hour or two. Long night ahead for myself, ladies and gentlemen, but regardless, that's not what you came here to hear about. Back on a green, 41 laps to go. Velocity and Everett battle for third as Watkins holds a 1, now make it 2, almost 3 car length lead over Andrew. Little trouble! It was GT Irizarry that got out of shape. He makes the save. Huge save for GT Irizarry as he drops spots, but holds onto the race car. Harold Watkins continuing to lead the way. They're going to lap past Stephen Luttrell, just came off pit road. Matt Hayden back into the fight as well. He's up to 5th. As Watkins continues to lead. 39 laps to go this time by. We might just get to the end of this thing before this storm gets here. 38 to go. Watkins, Little, Velocity, Hayden, Coytrone, your top fives. The field has kind of worked apart here over the course of the last several laps, and we may just wind it down right here. 37 to go, and they will pass quickly. They are running 20-second laps right now, actually 19-second laps, which means this thing is going to likely be over in about the next 12 minutes, give or take. $35 laps to go at the line for Watkins. We're actually going to go backwards here. Look at this battle for second that's ongoing. Velocity, Hayden knocking down the back bumper of Andrew Little. As really these cars start to pick up some time. This race may not be over just yet. And if Velocity and Hayden can get by the 68, we're looking at a very realistic chance someone else could win this race because they are all running down the leader right now. Well, they were running down Harold Watkins. Again, I think they've got to get by the 68 of Andrew Little. If they don't, I don't think they stand much chance of getting to the race leader. We'll just have to wait and see. Velocity's trying different things. So is Matt Hayden. Hayden's going to get there for third. Not going to happen. Velocity just cannot find a way around that Andrew Little machine, and that's what's keeping them behind the leader and I think out of contention to win this race. Hayden back around Velocity. That's for a try at third. Ooh, car in the wall. That was Bourbon here. Velocity goes way up the hill in 3 and 4. And is going to almost lose the spot side by side for third. As Matt Hayden tries to get by. I think Velocity is the faster car of these three. But he cannot get around Andrew Little, and that has brought Matt Hayden to the doorstep. So now Matt Hayden's going to probably have to take a shot at Andrew Little here and try to get by him. With just 31 to go. Next time by, it will be 30. Yeah, I'm currently seeing the... Oh! Almost trouble right as I look back at it. Velocity, that may have been the wiggle he needed. He's going to get to the right rear. Oh, man, a big cutoff there by Little's actually going to let Hayden go by. Little door bangs to the 14 of Irizarry. He's trying to go by. That'll be for fourth. Now it'll be for third. Irizarry through to third. Hayden through to second, but does he have time to run down Harold Watkins? Does he have the pace? Off turn 4, 28 laps to go, or 29 at the line for Harold Watkins. And Hayden, I just don't know if he has the time to run down Watkins at the lap times that they are running. We begin lap time watch once again here in the Challenger Cup Series. 100th faster last time for Hayden. That time by a 10th faster. But again, I don't know if he's got enough laps. He might. It'll be close. Another 10th so far on this lap. Well, lost a little bit there. Oh, lost a lot on entry to 3 and 4, but gained a little bit of it back at the line. 65 for Harold Watkins, 60 for Matt Hayden. That's not enough. Needs to gain more than that. Just has not. It's been down here on entry to 3 and 4, right about here, that Hayden loses a lot of time and loses more that time, and that may be all. This may be all she wrote. Hayden's not gaining enough in turns 3 and 4. Was slower that time by than Watkins. Through 3 and 4, 25 to go at the line for the points leader, the number 1 seed. I'm not sure why the banner just did that, but let's see if we can fix that real quick. There we go. The title was making it a little bit funky. Lap traffic ahead. Let's see. Kind of how nicely these guys will play with the leader, Harold Watkins, as Hayden closes under 2 seconds. They're going to move way out of the way is Bourbonier. No harm, no foul there. Hayden gained 700ths last lap, 84 this lap to Hayden's 75. Again, that is not enough to make up the ground that he has to make up on Harold Watkins. The only thing that would help him at this point would be a caution flag. Now, a little bit of help right there that Watkins had to run a different lane to get around Brandon Beauchamp. And that's going to cut the gap down another 10th. Back to 1.8 seconds. And as they go into one, Watkins gains it all back. 22 to go, make it 21 at the line. .9, it's settling about 1.9, and now Watkins is back to being the fastest car on the racetrack. At the line, 20 laps to go. Hayden trying everything he can. If he gets a yellow, I think, in the last 20 laps here, he could stand a chance to at least hang with the 3 and get an attempt to pass him on a restart, but I just don't know if there's anywhere in the field that we could see that happen. The only place would be back in this group right here. This is the group right here I'm watching for a potential for a yellow flag, but even they have settled it out just a little bit now. I don't think they're going to get caught by the leader either. This would be the spot where I would anticipate if it was going to happen, but these guys have now settled out. Up here, 3 more cars. They're not even as close together as that second group was. Got to be careful here if you're this group. You don't want to be the ones to bring out a caution. Don't want to be that guy. Watkins' lead shrinks just a little bit again, but I just don't think there's enough time if he keeps running the pace he's running, although that time almost 0.2 of a second faster, and that would get him there. But he has to do it consistently. He's not yet been able to gain that kind of time consistently. Again, man, it's been the entry of turn 3 that has just killed the 5 car here. Let's see what Watkins does and try to see what Hayden does in the same section of the racetrack. Watch Watkins here down into 3. Let's see if we can devise any differences. Hayden runs a little bit higher, maybe a little bit deeper. And here is Ziri now running him down for second. Again, I feel like the only way that Hayden or Ziri catch the 3 is with a caution flag, and I'm just not fully convinced that's going to happen at this point. Even this group is spread out. 13 to go. The battle, it looks like, will be for second behind Harold Watkins. And he will come down and collect 12 laps to go at Wilkesboro as he looks to finish off win number 4, which would lead the series. Looking to complete the job here with 12 laps remaining in the foothills of North Carolina. 11 to go, 1.4 back to Matt Hayden, now 1.3 on entry to 1. Last lap, 0.2 faster for the 5 car. Again, we're not out of realm. If he were to gain that for the next 10 laps, he would get there. And now he's, well, I thought he had figured out a little something in turn 3 and 4. He's broken even now with the Watkins machine, but then loses it all back in turn 1. Watkins is a machine this season. Lap after lap after lap, rock solid. 9 laps to go for Harold Watkins as Ziri and Hayden watch on. They are trying to get at least a look, a glance at this, but just have not been able to get close enough. Now lap traffic ahead. We'll have to see if Watkins catches that car in front of him. That may matter, because remember, after Brandon Beauchamp, it was about a 0.3 difference. Depending on where this lap car goes, and that's a playoff car this time, I believe. It's Luttrell. And he will solve that question for us as he gets off the racetrack. Battle for second with 7 to go. Matt Hayden on the outside, GT Irizarry on the inside. Irizarry runs a little high, but he makes the pass on Matt Hayden and will move into second position. Hayden going to try one crossover, get back to the right rear. Not going to make it happen. Does he turn down the hill here in 1 and 2? No. And 6 to go now for Harold Watkins. And I am hoping my power stays on for the next 5 laps at least. 5 to go at the line for Harold Watkins. As he works towards win number 4. No lap traffic in front of him that's going to be an issue. Tell you what, this run from Watkins has been something else over the course of this season. It has been dominant, controlling, clearly a championship favorite in a season that has seen so many drivers kind of be in the conversation for who is next best. There's been clearly one best driver all season long. You wondered, would the domination transfer to the playoffs? Would he have a slip up in the postseason and uprooted his season and maybe put his season on life support? To this point, the answer is going to remain no. White flag at North Wilkesboro Speedway. This is the easiest of the steps towards the championship. It does not get any easier from here. And if GT Irizarry had 5-10 more laps, he'd catch him. He will not have the time. Welcome to the round of 8. The points leader, Harold Watkins, wins in dominant fashion in North Wilkesboro. He will burn it down once again, the 4th win of the season. It's Harold Watkins. Captures the race win. He will come to the front stretch and burn it down to the sold-out crowd. For the 4th time this season, it's Watkins in victory lane. So he concludes his burnout, and that will send us now into post-race coverage from North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll go through the finishing results. We'll have top 3 interviews waiting on tap for you. Harold Watkins wins playoff race number 1. He'll lock in to the round of 8 in a couple weeks' time at Michigan. GT Irizarry goes second tonight. Great run for him. Same with Matt Hayden in third, despite all the trouble that he had. Andrew Little goes fourth tonight. John Velocity back in fifth. Then James Coytrone 6th, Justin Malarkey 7th, Steve Potter 8th, Travis Everett 9th, and Jimmy Fitzmaurice in 10th. Curtis Preston finishes tonight in 11th. First car 1 lap down. Brandon Beauchamp in 12th. Greg Bourbonier in 13th, and Stephen Luttrell with a tough run for his start to the playoffs in 14th position. Well, looks like they're all three ready. This happened last week, too, where they all three kind of beat me to the punch. So with that being said, we'll go right into interviews. No waiting needed on this Tuesday night. Let's get right into it. Starting with a man who finished third, experienced some trouble early in the race, went on one of the wilder rides we've ever seen, took his fast repair, and ended up finishing third tonight at a really successful night. It's Matt Hayden in the 5 car.
High up in the air. I'm watching the replay of me flipping down the back.
Matt, it's Dawson the broadcast. We're sorry to cut you off. Do you have a copy?
Hey, Dawson, sorry. I don't get my tone sounds for some reason.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one. Regardless, look, a third place finish, and certainly one that was hard earned. Watching the replay, about flew into the infield at one point in this race. Despite that, stayed with the process, made some passes. You finished third. Really, when you look at the playoff points, the playoff drivers tonight, one of the more successful nights of the playoff field. Take me through a topsy-turvy night, and are you satisfied with the third place finish?
Oh no, yeah, we're definitely satisfied with the circumstances that we ran into with that. I kind of felt like we were maybe like a third place kind of car, especially on that first stint. GT, Harold was obviously fast, and then GT kind of ran us down. I kind of felt like, hey, this is third place, fourth place would be acceptable here, especially with kind of a lower car count. Some playoff guys missing, and then it's kind of like, hey, just take advantage of getting some points. Especially stage worked out too. I didn't expect to get as many stage points there. I think we were maybe third in the stage too. So just a dumb move down the backstretch. I told myself right before this thing started, I said, hey, we got to have a good race, don't make mistakes, get a decent finish, don't do anything crazy, and then we nosed it into the only wall that's perpendicular to the track. So, and then we saw a lot of sky, a lot of grass, a couple of cars underneath us. Just got lucky with the lucky dog there midway through the race, getting those little quick cautions, and just kind of worked out.
Well, absolutely. Again, it's not a win, but it's about as close as you could have gotten with the circumstances. Now, Charlotte coming up next week, an elimination race. The points are very, very tight. There's no margin for error. After a night like tonight, it could have gone very badly. It doesn't. Do you feel like you're in must-win mode next week? Do you feel like you could probably point your way in? What's the confidence level? And do you feel like you have to go to victory lane just for the peace of mind?
I mean, it would be nice too, but I think the goal obviously was to get a decent finish here to get enough points to feel, pretty comfortable, because, Charlotte can have a big one like a Daytona or something like that. It's high speed. It's pretty close racing, especially on restarts early off of stages and stuff like that. So, you can have a wreck and get tore up pretty bad, and end up finishing last. Car count will probably be a little better next week too. So that just moves you further down the board, if you do have a problem early on in that race. So I think this kind of gives us a cushion to where, we can probably run a little safe. If we've got, long run where we can, strategize with tires and fuel and stuff like that, then, we'll run it that way. But no, I don't think this week, with this race being kind of a wild card, is as important as winning probably in the next round, especially with only 8 cars trying to make 4 spots. So we'll give it a go. Charlotte's not one of those tracks that I look forward to, but we'll give it a go and see what happens.
We're looking forward to it. A third place finish here tonight in North Wilkesboro, certainly with the stage points as well, is going to put you in a very favorable position headed to that race next week. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody, Misfit Motorsports, teammates over there, Challenger Racing League, all the guys over here. I want to thank the guys over at Central Arkansas Karting Complex in Valonia, Chicane Sim Racing out of Little Rock, and everybody out there watching. We're running Twitch for the first time for a while, so we got a couple of guys watching, and they've been in the chat tearing it up. So I want to thank those guys for watching too. So Dawson, appreciate seeing you up here. Not not winning though, so you're gonna have to take off a week or something.
Well, unfortunately, not gonna happen with the playoffs going on. But
Yeah. If you
well.
if you could miss, what is it, Pocono? You know what?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you need a vacation. I think I'll pay for it.
Yeah, I'll vacation for the championship 4 race at Pocono.
Yeah, sounds good.
Regardless, Matt, a third place finish. Congrats on the finish. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week in Charlotte.
All right, thanks, Dawson.
Matt Hayden in the 5 car. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, not gonna be here for the championship race, according to Matt Hayden. Anyway, regardless, let's move on to second place. GT Ziri, good run for him again. Kind of a chaotic night like Matt Hayden, but he comes back, finishes second, gets a lot of points, puts himself in a really nice points position for next week. Let's hear from the driver of the 14, GT Ziri. GT, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just asked Matt kind of the same thing. He felt like you guys both had pretty chaotic, topsy-turvy nights where you end up coming back and getting a really nice points night compared to some of the guys that finished behind you. Certainly puts you in a pretty good spot heading into next week. A second-place finish. Obviously, it's not a win, so you're not locked in hypothetically. But I got to imagine, you're pretty satisfied with the second-place finish here tonight in North Wilkesboro.
No, I'm very satisfied. I needed those stage points and to finish second. I was actually talking with Harold. Congratulations to him, by the way. I was like, dude, I had something for you. If I wouldn't have kept messing up on my own, I had something for him. But now, congratulations to him. We fought, and I was worried about this place. We practiced last night with me and my teammates, which just so you know, teammates of mine are Curtis and Travis. So we did some practice runs last night, and I was the slowest of the three, and I was just like, man, these cars are tricky on this track because these next gen's cars don't like bumps. So you got to be ready to hit that bump and be ready to go. So I don't know. I guess it was the Tito's that helped me out tonight. So, I'm glad to get a second place.
Well, absolutely. And now, we head into next week, and we talk about how slim the points margin is headed into next week. Coming into tonight, only a 5-point gap for you above the cut line. Certainly now, that will be a little bit larger with the points you gained tonight, but still not a ton of margin for error going into next week. I asked Matt Hayden this question. I'm going to ask you all the same. Do you feel like Charlotte is a must-win? Do you feel like you have a way to point your way in? Kind of take me through the game plan and also your confidence level to advance next week out of the round of 16.
Must win, no. Confidence level is actually pretty good. I like the track. I'm more of a 1.5 mile sim racer. I really like those. I feel pretty good about it. I mean, the whole thing's going to be is just your luck. You know what I'm saying? You got to have good luck and not get caught up in somebody else's mess. And I mean, it's good that we got this fast repair, but I don't know. It's just that you just got to keep the nose clean. And I tend to be a little bit different and be the one that runs a little bit different line than a lot of people. I like to hug the bottom. So I don't know. I got to see how that works out in our practice sessions to see if it actually shows itself. These next gen cars are kind of weird. If it was the cars beforehand, you could really have different lines to do stuff. These next gen cars, you just gotta, I don't know. They're hard to figure out. You can't be easy on them in some cases and try to save tires because then you do worse. It's almost like you got to drive them harder to save tires. So I don't know. I feel pretty good about it. I just gotta stay clean, and as long as I can get, I feel like a top 10 but get some stage points. That's going to be the big thing next week. Is I need to get some stage points. That's where I've lacked all season, is the stage points. My teammates Travis has always beat me on the stage points, and I'm just I'm there at the end, but the stage points I lose out on it. So that's going to be my focus for next week, is to make sure I get some good points.
Well, absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Nonetheless, tonight, a second-place finish for you in North Wilkesboro is exactly what the doctor ordered. Before we let you go and enjoy it just a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, big thanks to Curtis and Travis for practice and helping me out there, and appreciate you coming out here, and the guys putting on the league. This is probably one of the I gotta say, man, I've been in a lot of leagues over the years. I was just telling Harold, I'm 53 years old, man. And I've been doing this for a long time, but this has been really fun with this league. It's clean racing and competitive. Everybody's cool with each other. If they mess up, they're step up and own it and say, hey, my bad. Usually you go to a lot of leagues and there are a bunch of arrogant, people in there that, you know, anyhow. No, I appreciate everybody that putting this on, and thanks for putting it on as well.
Appreciate you talking to me for a second. Congrats on the second place finish. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will see you next week in Charlotte.
Simple, brother. Appreciate it.
GT Oziri, second place finisher tonight in North Wilkesboro. Moving down to the man in victory lane for the fourth time this season. 13 races, nearly a third of them have been won by the three of Harold Watkins. Another one for him tonight. We'll see what he's got to say about another trip to Challenger Cup Series victory lane. Harold, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Dawson, I got you.
Well, look, another pretty dominant effort for you tonight. Obviously, got to imagine feeling pretty good, winning your way to the round of 8. Not that the points were that close for you, the only driver in the field with a nice points cushion heading into tonight. But now you can kind of take a beat next week in Charlotte, not stress nearly as much about points or winning or what have you. A dominant effort. Take me through another win for you here tonight in North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of stuck to my strategy, qualified well. I think I had an advantage because I kind of knew where the green flag came out just from doing a little bit of practice with it. So I got the lead and just kind of tried to never look back and got the stage points I was looking for. So that's another playoff point for next round. And then it kind of just worked out at the end where I was able to get a big enough lead where the gap was just insurmountable with the laps left. So it all worked out, and it feels good to not have to really worry about next week and can go have some fun.
Well, absolutely. And, for a driver that kind of wins through, kind of take the viewers through, like what is the game plan going to be next week? Obviously, you still want to run well. You're not going to completely phase out and kind of be distracted, during next week's race at Charlotte. But kind of what is the game plan for a driver who's already locked in, per se, to the next round of the playoffs?
Playoff points. It's all going to be about playoff points. So, I mean, I'm still going to run hard. I'm going to still try to win to get that extra 5 points for the next round. But, yeah, that's the main thing is just be aggressive. I'm really going to go for it. I mean, it doesn't matter where I finish. So if I have to be aggressive and kind of lay it out there, that's what I'm going to do to try to get the extra points.
We're definitely looking forward to it. One more here before we let you give your shout-outs and thank yous. One more here real quick. At this point, 1 race out of 5 done in the playoffs. What is the confidence level that you can keep this momentum going and that we'll see you in championship victory lane here in a few weeks' time at Pocono?
I mean, I'm feeling confident that I'm at least going to get to the Final Four at this point. Just, with the 15-point bonus for winning the regular season and then stacking up stage wins and race wins for extra playoff points. So I'm not too worried about pointing in, but it's just going to shift my focus and make sure that I'm very cognizant of what's going on at Pocono and have a very direct plan on how I'm going to run that race. So I'm highly confident, I guess, to answer.
We're definitely looking forward to the playoffs continuing next week in Charlotte. Meanwhile, a trip to victory lane for you at North Wilkesboro. Before we let you go and celebrate, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to everyone that makes this league run. There's quite a few people behind the scenes making sure things go smoothly. A big team of admins, and thank you to you up in the booth. Can't wait to watch this race back. Should be pretty fun. Thank you to everyone in the league. Like I say, as much as possible, this league has just been really great racing the entire year, and it's a testament to each and every person in this league. So really appreciate everyone.
Well, appreciate you talking to me for a second. Congratulations on the victory. Enjoy it, celebrate, take a beat next week, but still, we're going to see you racing for playoff points. Go enjoy the win. We'll see you next week for the round of 16's final race in Charlotte.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Harold Watkins wins here tonight in North Wilkesboro, and that will start to kind of wrap up tonight's coverage from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Harold Watkins goes back to victory lane in a topsy-turvy playoff race that saw guys have good nights. Some playoff guys had bad nights. Points will be interesting. Headed to Charlotte Motor Speedway next week. Boy, this season's been fun. Next week, we cut the field from 16 to 8. We'll be back here at 8:30, 8:45 p.m. Eastern on the PGR eSports Network for the longest race of the regular season in Charlotte as we cut the playoff field in half and advance towards that championship race in Pocono 4 weeks from now. We will race next week. A lot of leagues have taken the week or weekend off for Memorial Day. we will still, I believe, let me double check that for you before I give you that information, but I believe we will still race next week in Charlotte, and it is the case. So be back here next Tuesday after enjoying the Memorial Day holiday. Happy Memorial Day to you. As we get into this weekend, remember why we're celebrating Memorial Day. Enjoy the festivities of the weekend. Enjoy the racing this weekend as well. And we'll be back here next Tuesday night for more Challenger Cup Series playoff action from Charlotte. Programming notes for you on the way out. Coming up next on PGR eSports, it's the Ron Morris Racing Tuesday Night Thunder Series, as that series nears its conclusion, I believe, for this season. Michael Triscaro, Ron Morris Jr. will have you on the call on PGR eSports here. Go to our main page. The stream will be up shortly. The other series on tonight, Grindstone Development Truck Series, might still be live as well with Austin Green in the booth. Actually may not have even gone live yet, so go check that one out with Austin as he covers some truck racing this week. And then with Mike and Ron, it's PGR eSports presents the Ron Morris Racing Tuesday Night Thunder Series. Tomorrow night, PGR eSports Network hosts the Roughneck Racing, I believe it's championship week for the Wednesday series of Roughneck Racing. Michael Triscaro will be on the call. I might join Michael Triscaro tomorrow night like I did last week. May have Landon Velicki on as well to cover championship racing for Roughneck's Wednesday night series. Thursday night, it's the PGR Intimidator Super Speedway Series that makes its return once again as well. I'm not particularly sure what that race is this week. I will get this for you on the way out. It is the Xfinity Series at Talladega. Welcome back, Thursday Night Heat. It's been a while since we had Thursday Night Heat. Looking forward to bringing that format back for Thursday night. Austin, I believe we'll have you on the call. If not Austin, it will be Landon on the call on Thursday night. I believe every other series has the week off this week, or the weekend off. I know the weekend series are off this week for Memorial Day. The Monday night, the VRX Light Series is off next week as well for the Memorial Day holiday. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the racing at Monaco, at Indy, and at Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600. And we will see you back here in a week's time for more playoff racing as we cut the playoff field to 8. Until then, everybody have a great night.